11 Stoic strategies to level up your life. No motivation needed. You don't need more motivation. You need a philosophy. Because let's face it, motivation is unreliable. It's there when things are exciting, when the goal is shiny, when life feels good. But what about the days when you're tired? When no one's clapping? When the world doesn't care if you keep going or not? That's where most people stop. Because they've been told. Wait until you feel inspired. But the Stoics taught the opposite. Marcus Aurelius didn't wait for a burst of emotion before showing up. He ruled an empire, faced betrayal, loss, and war, and still wrote. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I am rising to do the work of a human being. That's not motivation. That's discipline rooted in purpose. That's a man who had every reason to quit, and still got up. And modern science backs him up. Neuroscience now confirms. Waiting for motivation is like waiting for the wind to blow your sails. What you need is a system, a mental foundation that helps you act, no matter how you feel. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, said it best. Forget motivation. Focus on identity. Every action you take is a vote for the person you want to become. That's where Stoicism shines. It doesn't care how you feel today. It cares who you're becoming, one action, one choice, one principle at a time. So in this video, you won't get hype. You'll get 11 strategies, grounded in ancient Stoic wisdom and modern psychology, to help you level up from the inside out. Strategies that work when motivation disappears. Strategies that turn ordinary days into momentum. Strategies that make discipline not a burden, but a way of life. Let's get into it. Strategy 1. Do it anyway. Feelings don't lead, values do. Some days you'll feel tired. Some days unmotivated. Some days downright hopeless. And the modern mindset says, it's okay. Wait until you feel better. Don't push yourself. But the Stoics? They didn't wait for the mood. They acted anyway, because they understood this powerful truth. Feelings don't lead. Values do. Marcus Aurelius never said, I don't feel like being emperor today. He wrote, when you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. To a Stoic, action isn't optional, it's the expression of your philosophy. Modern science backs this up. When you act based on your values, not your emotions, your brain rewires. It builds dopamine momentum. It shifts from reactive mode to creator mode. Neuroscientist Andrew Huberman calls it the action before emotion loop. You move first, the motivation follows. This flips the script. Instead of asking, do I feel like doing this? You ask, is this aligned with who I want to become? Because every time you choose action over excuse, you cast a vote for your future self. Not the perfect self. Not the inspired self. But the disciplined self, the one who shows up anyway. Practical action. Create a morning ritual that begins before your brain has time to negotiate. Example, wake, breathe, one sentence in your journal. What would my highest self do first today? Then do that. Because you don't become disciplined by feeling ready. You become disciplined by moving anyway, again and again, until it becomes who you are. Strategy 2. Practice voluntary discomfort. Train the mind through the body. Don't ask for a life of comfort. Ask for the strength to endure a difficult one. Epictetus. We live in an age that avoids pain at all costs. One tap for food. One scroll for escape. One excuse to quit. But the Stoics understood. If you want real strength, you must train discomfort, on purpose. This wasn't about self-punishment. It was about preparation. Because when you choose discomfort, you teach the mind something powerful. I can handle this. Marcus Aurelius didn't live in luxury, though he could. He slept on hard ground when training with soldiers. He reminded himself that resilience doesn't come from ease, it comes from effort. And science agrees. Cold exposure, fasting, physical training, all trigger what neurologists call adaptive stress. This process increases dopamine baseline, improves emotional regulation, and builds grit, not in theory, but in the nervous system itself. Huberman Lab research shows voluntary discomfort builds real confidence, not from appearance, but from physiology. So what does this mean for you? It means you build mental toughness not by thinking about it, but by doing the hard thing when no one's watching. It could be waking up earlier, doing that workout you hate, taking a cold shower, or saying no when it's uncomfortable. Practical action. Pick one act of voluntary discomfort each day. Small but consistent. Let it become your training ground for willpower. Because confidence isn't born from comfort. It's forged in the fire of intentional hardship. And once you've trained your mind through your body, no external challenge can shake you. Strategy 3. Journaling for self-mastery. People look for retreats in the mountains by the sea. But nowhere is more peaceful than your own mind. Marcus Aurelius. Marcus didn't write meditations for the world. He wrote it for himself, in the quiet of the morning, in the silence of war, in the stillness of doubt. Why? Because writing isn't just reflection, it's recalibration. Journaling is how Stoics trained the mind to observe, question, and strengthen itself. And today, modern psychology confirms it. Journaling activates the prefrontal cortex, the center for decision-making, focus, and emotion regulation. In short, brain, when you write, you gain control. You become aware of your thoughts, instead of becoming them. You process fear. You challenge false beliefs. You turn chaos into clarity. And the best part? It doesn't take hours. Just a few lines a day can rewire how you think. Open book. Here's a simple Stoic journaling formula, morning and night. Morning. What do I control today? What virtue do I want to embody? What challenge can I prepare for? Evening. What did I do well? Where did I fall short? What will I do better tomorrow? This habit, done daily, becomes a mirror, not to judge, but to grow. Practical action. Start a 7-day Stoic journaling challenge. Same time each day. Keep it simple. Let the page become your teacher. Because when you write your thoughts, you reclaim your mind. And when you master your mind, you begin to master your life. Strategy 4. Negative visualization. Appreciate by imagining loss. He is a great man who uses his affliction to become better. Seneca. We're often told to think positive. Visualize the dream house, the dream life, the success ahead. But the Stoics had a different, even radical, idea. Visualize the worst. Imagine losing what you love. And in doing so, love it deeper. This is called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of adversity. Not to scare yourself, but to wake yourself up. Because here's what happens when you imagine loss. Gratitude is no longer a theory, it becomes real. You stop taking things for granted. You stop rushing through life. You remember. The people you love could be gone tomorrow. Your breath is a gift. Even this ordinary moment is temporary. Modern psychology agrees. Studies show that mortality salience, being reminded of death or loss, increases mindfulness, patience, and appreciation. It boosts dopamine not from fantasy, but from presence. Practical action. Each morning, take 1 minute. close your eyes. Imagine that today is the last day with someone you love. Or the last time you get to do something simple: walk, breathe, sit in the sun. Then open your eyes. And live like it matters. Because it does. Negative visualization doesn't make you negative. It makes you present. And in presence you find peace, not from more, but from realizing what you already have. Strategy 5. The dichotomy of control. Know what to release. Some things are in our control. Others are not. Epictetus. This is the core of Stoicism, the ultimate filter. What can I control? What must I release? It sounds simple. But how often do we forget this? We stress about people's opinions. We obsess over outcomes. We try to manage the weather, the market, the traffic, even time. And it drains us, emotionally, mentally, physically. Because we're fighting battles that were never ours to win. The Stoics refused to waste energy on the uncontrollable. Epictetus taught that your job is to master the inner. Your thoughts, choices, actions, character. Everything else? That's the arena of fate, not frustration. Modern science backs this mindset. Psychological studies show that people who focus on what they can control experience lower anxiety, better health, stronger resilience. They don't feel powerless, because they stop chasing control where it doesn't exist. Practical action. Start every stressful moment with one question. Is this within my control? If yes, take action. If no, let go. Breathe. Return to your center. To the Stoic, surrender isn't weakness. It's wisdom. And when you release what's not yours to carry, you rise lighter, sharper, freer. Because peace isn't found in controlling the world. It's found in mastering your response to it. Strategy 6. Detach from outcome. Focus on the process. Don't aim to be admired. Aim to be admirable. Marcus Aurelius. We live in a results-obsessed world. How many likes? How much money? How fast can I get there? But the Stoics warn us. Obsession with outcome is the path to frustration. Attachment creates suffering. They taught. Your duty is the action, not the applause. The effort, not the external reward. Because once you fixate on results, you give your peace away to things outside your control. Marcus Aurelius didn't write for fame. Epictetus didn't teach to go viral. They lived with integrity, because that alone was victory. And here's where science backs them up. Microscope psychologists studying flow states, that deep, focused zone of high performance, found that they happen when you let go of outcome. You're not thinking about winning. You're immersed in doing. That's where progress accelerates, in presence. Process-driven goals lead to more sustainable motivation and mental health than outcome-driven ones. Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. Practical action. Whatever you're doing today, a task, a habit, a mission, ask yourself, am I focused on how it feels to do it, or what I'll get from it? Then shift your attention to the breath, the movement, the craft. Because when you focus on the process, you build excellence, not from pressure but from purpose. And ironically, that's when results finally come. Not because you chased them, but because you became the kind of person who earns them, without needing them. Strategy 7. Use silence as power. Silence is a lesson learned from the many sufferings of life. Seneca. In a world that screams for attention, silence is rebellion. Everyone wants to speak, prove, react, argue. But the Stoic asks, what if your silence speaks louder than their noise? Seneca, Marcus, Epictetus, they all knew. You don't win by talking more. You win by talking less, and saying only what matters. Silence isn't weakness. It's composure. It's restraint. It's the strength to pause when your ego wants to explode. Today, neuroscience explains why silence is so powerful. Microscope studies show that a moment of silence before responding activates the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for rational thinking and impulse control. In contrast, reacting instantly activates the amygdala, the fight or flight center. In other words, silence protects you from emotional hijack. The Stoics didn't suppress emotion, they observed it. They let silence create space. And in that space, they chose response over reaction. Practical action. Try this rule. Never respond immediately in anger, excitement, or fear. Wait 5 seconds. Breathe. Then speak, or stay silent. Also, schedule intentional silence daily. No phone. No noise. Just stillness. It sharpens awareness. It grounds your mind. Because silence isn't just the absence of noise. It's the presence of mastery. And the more silent you become, the more powerful your voice, when it finally speaks. Strategy 8. The morning check-in. Anchor your day with intention. When you wake up in the morning, ask yourself, what do I have to do today as a human being? Marcus Aurelius. Most people wake up and reach for their phone. News, notifications, noise, instantly flooding the mind. But the Stoics began their day with something else. Clarity. Intention. Direction. Marcus Aurelius didn't start by scrolling, he started by thinking. What is in my control today? What kind of person do I choose to be? That's what made him grounded, not as a ruler, but as a man. Modern science echoes this wisdom. Psychologists call it implementation intention. Setting a conscious mental plan each morning increases productivity, reduces stress, and improves focus throughout the day. Even 60 seconds of reflection creates a massive shift in how your brain handles tasks. The problem isn't that we lack time. It's that we start the day with reactivity, not resolve. Practical action. Morning Stoic routine, 2 minutes. Upon waking, ask yourself these 3 questions. What is one thing I can control today? What challenge might test me, and how will I respond? Which virtue do I want to embody today? E.g., courage, patience, honesty. Write it down. Say it out loud. Let it guide you, before the world pulls you in 10 different directions. Because a chaotic day often begins with a chaotic mind. And the Stoic learns. You don't have to control everything, just start by controlling how you begin. Strategy 9. Face discomfort, don't escape it. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Epictetus. Most people run from discomfort. They numb it, delay it, scroll it away. But discomfort doesn't disappear, it accumulates. The Stoics knew. What you avoid today becomes your prison tomorrow. That's why they faced discomfort, not out of punishment, but out of principle. They asked, what lesson is this pain trying to teach me? Modern neuroscience agrees. Microscope research shows that emotional suppression increases anxiety and weakens memory. But when we face discomfort directly, the brain rewires its threat response. We grow not by escaping stress, but by learning to navigate it. This is called exposure-based resilience. And it's why Marcus Aurelius wrote, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Practical action, the 3-minute Stoic pause. When discomfort arises, emotional pain, fear, anger, tension, don't react. Sit still. Name the feeling. Ask, what belief is fueling this? Is it true? This process, repeated daily, builds courage from within. Because real confidence doesn't come from always feeling good. It comes from facing what feels bad, and not flinching. The Stoic doesn't run from fire. They walk through it, with steady breath, clear eyes, and a stronger heart on the other side. Strategy 10. Live as if you've died, and came back. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. Marcus Aurelius. Imagine this. You died last night, but you woke up again this morning. Not in fear, but in full awareness of how rare and beautiful this second chance really is. That's how the Stoics lived. Not morbidly, but mindfully. They practiced memento mori. Remember you must die. Not to be sad, but to be serious about living. Because death isn't the end of life. Forgetfulness is. We forget how valuable this moment is. We forget that ordinary things, the breath, the sky, the people we love, are miracles passing us by. But when you live as if you've come back from the grave, you don't waste time. You don't hold grudges. You don't postpone what matters. Science agrees. Microscope studies on mortality salience show that being reminded of death actually leads to greater emotional depth, stronger focus, more purposeful action. It narrows your attention to what truly matters. Practical action, the rebirth practice daily. Each morning, write one sentence. If today was a bonus day after death, how would I live it? Then live it that way. Not rushed. Not panicked. But aware. Intentional. Grateful. Because life doesn't give warnings. And the Stoic knows. You don't need more time. You need to use the time you have, like it's your second chance. You don't need to feel ready, you just need to begin. Most people wait for motivation, wait for clarity, wait for the perfect moment that never comes. But the Stoics lived differently. They acted. They didn't ask, "Do I feel like it?" They asked, "What is the right thing to do?" And that's what you've just seen in this video. 11 timeless Stoic strategies. Not theories, but tools. Not motivational fluff, but grounded habits backed by science. Habits that shift your life from the inside out. Act on values, not moods. Train your mind through discomfort. Write to understand your thoughts. Visualize loss to deepen presence. Control only what is yours. Detach from outcomes. Use silence as your edge. Start each day with intention. Face the pain. Live like today is your second chance. And build momentum, no matter how you feel. You don't need to do them all. Just pick one. Start small. Let it shape your next choice, your next day, your next identity. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these Stoic strategies resonated the most? Tell me in the comments, and let's grow stronger together. And if this message touched something deeper in you, if you're ready to stop chasing motivation and start building discipline, then like this video. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. And subscribe to True Stoic Mindset. Because here, we don't just talk about wisdom. We practice it, daily, with intention, with strength and silence. No more waiting. The path is here. Walk it. Strategy 11. You don't need motivation, you need momentum. First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Epictetus. Motivation is a myth. It comes and goes like the wind, unpredictable, unreliable. But what the Stoics relied on wasn't mood, it was motion. They didn't ask, "Do I feel like it today?" They asked, "What is required of me today?" Because once you move, even a little, energy follows. Momentum builds. Discipline compounds. Modern science calls this the Activation energy principle. Microscope in behavioral psychology. Taking one small action, even for 2 minutes, triggers the brain to overcome resistance. It moves you from inertia to flow. James Clear calls it the 2-minute rule. Start so small you can't say no, then let momentum take over. The Stoics lived this. They focused on the first step, not the full path. Because when you do the first thing, the second becomes easier. And soon, action becomes identity. Practical action, the Stoic momentum shift. When you're stuck, don't try to feel better. Instead, stand up. Do one push-up. Write one sentence. Send one message. Take one step. That's it. The body moves. The mind follows. The day begins. Because success isn't built on bursts of motivation. It's built on daily momentum, even when you feel like doing nothing. And the Stoic? They don't wait for the spark. They strike the stone, again and again, until the fire burns.